Hi, welcome all. Today, as usual, Shri Bindoji is taking Mandukya Upanishad along with Gaudapada Karika. As all we know, this is one of the most wonderful Upanishads. Bindoji again and again tells that not only Vindoji, the entire parampara believes that the knowledge of this Upanishads can give us the liberation here, now, and we need not to study anything further. That's what Bindoji emphasized while dealing with the first and second mantra itself. It's a very interesting Upanishad sessions. Uh, I request Bindoji to continue today. Thank you, Bindoji. Please.
ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Nitya, can you chant that Mangala Sutras?
हरि ओम्। ॐ प्रज्ञानां शुप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पुनरपि धिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपति मधुरभुङ् मायया भोजयन्नो माया सङ्ख्यातुरीयम् परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। यो विश्वात्मा विधिज विषयान् राश्यभोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमतिविभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरपि शनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः आत्मसौ न तुरीयः। जागृदादित्रयोन्मुक्तम् जागृदादिमयं तथा ओङ्कारेकसु संवेद्यम् यत्पदं तन्नमाम्यहम्। ॐ
So in the Mandukya Upanishad, we completed 6 mantras, then 8 Karikas, and 7th mantra is to be now. We have to move on. Before that, I will chant the 6 mantras once again so that it rings bell in all our minds. ओमित्येतदक्षरमिदं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवद्भविष्यति सर्वम् ओङ्कार एव यच्छान्यत्र कालाग्निहितं तदप्योङ्कार एव सर्वं ह्येतद्ब्रह्मायमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानो बहिःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानरः प्रथमः पादः स्वप्नस्थानो अन्तःप्रज्ञः एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रकृतभुक्तभुक्तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः यत्र सुप्नो कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत् सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एवमानन्दमयो ह्यानन्दभुक्तेजो मुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयः पादः Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvajna, Esha Andaryami, Esha Yonihi, Sarvasya Prabhavopyaya, Ki Bhutana. These are the first 6 mantras. So we saw that Om is representing Brahma and Etat Sarvam, all these things, whatever you can say, all Sarvam means including the speaker and what he is indicating. Everything, Sarvam Omkara Eva, is included in the word Omkara. And that itself is Brahma. Etat Sarvam Brahma. Soyam Atma Brahma. So this Atma, touching the listener, the Upanishad says that this Atma, this self in you is Brahma, and that has to be understood as Soyam Atma Chatushpat. In the fourfold way we have to understand. And for that, there is nothing outside, because if this Atma is ourself, is Brahma, we need not look outside. So the Upanishad says that look within. Jagarita sthana, it means the waking state of experience or waking realm of experience, is Bahipratnyaha, is turned outward. We are controlled by the sense organs, both action and cognition, and then we get to know the gross world. Stula book, Vaishwanara is the name for the microcosm or the individual. Same is the situation in the macrocosm also, where the gross world is the creation of Virat. Virat is the cosmic body which is creating the gross aspects, and that is to be understood as the first aspect of it. Pradama Padaha. Swapnasthana Andaprajna Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukha So Pravibhuktabuk Taijasa Dvidiya Padaha. Now the second aspect, which in our experience we know that apart from waking we have also dream, Swapnasthana, and there the knowledge is Andaprajna, it is inward looking or placed inside, and therefore they are pravibhikta book in the sense they are subtle in nature. The grossness which we have in the waking is not there in the dream, and therefore it is subtle, and that is the second aspect of it. And yatra supno na kanjana kamam kamayade na kanjana supnam pasyati tat sushupta, where both grossness and subtleness is not felt, and there is nothing which is prompting for the desire. Kanchana kamam kamayate. There is no desires also. The no desire of being the individual itself. Sushupta sthana eki bodha. There, as if everything has become one, merged into a unity. Prajnana khana, in the form of awareness solidified. And therefore, then there is nothing else to be there. That is the Anandamaya. Mayat means Prachuryarte, is the completeness of the Ananda in that state. That's why we also say that, I had a good sleep. That happiness or the bliss which we obtain in our sleep is known to us only in waking, but not while experiencing that. And that is called Prajna in the individual and Ishvara in the gross, in the cosmic sense. Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvajna, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yonihi, Sarvasya Prabhava. Now, why it is said Sarvasya Prabhava? That the gross and the subtle is supposed to be appearing in that solidified Vijnana or solidified awareness. When the projections of the grossness comes, we get into waking. When the projection of the subtle happens, when we get into the subtle world. Now we should be very, very clear, because now the subsequent mantra is a very, very important mantra, and if one can understand it in its entirety when it is being told by the Upanishad, narrated by Shankara in his Bhashya cities. Shankara himself says that Sravana Samakale eva jnanam bhavati. The moment you listen to it, it should shine in yourself, or you should be knowing it. For that, he is giving a lot of examples. I'll read the Shankara's Bhashya word by word and explain it. Because that is only mantra where I need to take you hand holding through the mantras of the Bhashya of the Shankara's commentary. Then only it will become clearer from the point of view of what the Upanishad is really conveying. Just reading the mantra, we will not be in any way able to decipher it ourselves, unless a master of the caliber of Shankara who has come down to help us to understand the mantras. So, to know that, in the Karika, when Gaudapada explained, he explained about Trishu Damasu Yadbojyam Bhokta Yascha Prakirtitaha Vedai Yet Uvayam Yastu Sa Bunjano Na Lipete. That fifth mantra, fifth Karika, he said that in the three states of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, which has been told in the mantras 2, 3 and 4, 3, 4 and 5, there is a Bojyam Bhokta, there is a subject and the object. In that form, it is Prakirtita, means it is well known from the experiential point of view. Yetat vai upayam yastu sa bunjano lipede. These states are in reality neither is tainting or consuming the vijnana, the prajna which is there, which is knowing the subject and the object. Therefore, we should know how these things are happening. It is explained in the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th mantras, Karikas in this thing. Prabhava sarva bhavanam satamiti vinishcheha sarvam janayati pranascha purusha pratak. Now, this is the Prabhava means creation. Sarva bhavanam, all the entities which are being. Sadamiti vinishcheha, Satam means from Sat. Iti vinishchaya, you should be very, very clear that from Sat only the creation can happen. That means reality is the nature from which all the creations are happening. So here he is telling that the creation is real. Sadamiti vinishchaya. Sarvam janayati prana chetamshun purusha pratak. But there is a corollary for it. Sarvam janayati. Everything appears to have been created. Janayati means it is a preranartha or causal. Like by the prana, prana here stands for Brahma. Shvetamshu purusha pratak. The rays which is coming out of the sun, or the way in which that awareness which is projecting, is the one which is separate from this, the created. So how does the created separate out itself from the thing? It is just like the sunlight and the sun. The sun, we know the sun is the source of energy and it's a globe or is like a star or a planet, which we say. But the sun cannot be known unless the rays are seen. Same way, these creations which are being projected is being known because of the Purusha or the Prana Brahma, which in the form of light is the one which is giving them the reality to it. Now, without knowing this, there are different philosophies in the system where they say that these creations have happened due to different aspects of it. Now, what we have to see here is that Prabhava Prasarva Bhavanam Sadamiti Vinishya, we have completed. Vibhuti Prasavam tu Anye Manyande Srishti Chintaka. Swapnamaya Swarupeti Srishtir Anye Vikalpita. There are two examples, which is two philosophies we are talking about. It is the vibhuti of the Ishvara, or the creators, the glory of the creation, which is the reason for the creation of the world, where they have a separate reality for the created world. Then they say that, like the potter is creating a pot, it is the art and the craftiness of the potter which gives the shape and form of the pot. Same way, the vibhuti, or the glory of the Ishvara, is the cause, instrumental cause for creating the reality of the world which is being srishti in the. Then there is another set of philosophers who is saying Swapnamaya Swarupeti. It is like how the dream is being projected in the dream world. This world which is in the waking, also the whole world outside is also a Maya Swarupam. Now there is a difference between the Maya which Advaitin talks about and this Maya, Maya which here he is talking about, is a different philosophers who think that, like a magician creating the whole experience of the world which is appearing to be real, is not the way in which they are talking. They are saying that when the experience of the dream is happening, you cannot refute the dream. Same way, when the waking is happening, you cannot refute the waking. But both waking and dream are creation of Maya of Ishvara. Now here Ishvara is separate. He has a Shakti called Maya, and he is using the power of his Maya to create this world in Srishti Vikalpita. Vikalpita means is in the form of, it is the Kalpana of the Ishwaran, or the will of the Ishvara, which is creating, he is using his own Maya to create it. This is different from what Advaita is going to come and tell later. Ichha matram prabho srishti srishtau vinishchidaha kala prasudim bhutanam manyande kala chintaka. Ichha matram. Now this is, they are using the same word from the Upanishad. So akamayata bahusyam prajayeti. He wished, let me become many. So his wish, Ichha, is the reason why he became many, because he got bored of himself. And being alone and in the Nirguna Bhava, he didn't have the enjoyment, so he decided to enjoy himself by creating his own, creation. This is one sort of philosophy which are saying, which is also being refuted by Gaudapada. Kalat prasudim bhutanam manyante kala chintaka. Now there are, kala chintaka means time. There is, like those who are talking about the, time is the cause for all the creation. Time, because of the time only, the causation is taking place, and everything is in time. And as the time goes, if Srishti, Siddhi and Laya is time bound. So therefore everything is in the control of time. So they call that, the destruction also being controlled by the Kala, or the destroyer. Then say like that, Kala Chintaka. So Bhogartam Srishtiranye Kridartam iti chapare Devasya Esha Subhavoyam Aptakamasya Kaspraha. Now the first line is again another philosophy, which is Bhogartam. He wanted to enjoy the multiplicity of the world outside. Therefore he created, and some of them are saying that he wanted to play, Leela, Ishvara Leela. He wanted to play with, for the creation, so he is playing. These are all unfounded, and there is no pramana or no valid in knowledge with which you can make these philosophies are valid and real. Then the last verse which Gaudapada says is that Devasya Esha Swabhava. This is the Swabhava of the creator. Deva here means the creator. His Swabhava. Swabhava means it is natural for him. And the word natural is not the way in which we have to assume it. I'll explain these words to you. Apta kamasya kaspraha, to define, to denote all the previous definitions of the philosophers, he is just putting one word. Apta kamasya kaspraha. The whole thing is in him. So how can he ever be having a desire to have something? The desire comes only when you don't have something and you want that, then only the desire comes, kama. And apta kama, apta kama, atma kama, akama. There are three words which are used in the Upanishad. Atma kama is the one who want to desire of himself. Akama means one who doesn't have a desire. But apta kama is the one in the Purnatvam where the completeness is there. Because everything is in him, so he has no desire because everything is in him. Now, the everything, whether it is that real or unreal, we will come to that later. But he has no need for a desire, therefore he has not created anything, is what Gaudapada is telling. But then if that is not the case, why am I seeing the experiences of the world? I have a gross world and gross experience. I have a dream world and dream experience. And a state of deep sleep where I knew nothing, including my own existence. I never knew anything. How can this be a reality of creation? So, Gaudapada says, Devasya Yasha Swabhava. Now, the word Swabhava and Swarupa are identical. Swarupa means his identity or his true nature. Now, when we look at it, our own experience of dream, waking, and deep sleep, the movement between one phase to another phase, or one aspect to another aspect of waking to dream or dream to deep sleep, or within waking itself going to the subtle world of memories and daydreaming or imagination. This is also like a subtle world. Now these things are happening as a natural process. There is no volition that I need to be in waking now. I need to be now in a subtle world, or I need to forget both subtle and gross and I need to take rest now. These type of volitional activity is not there. It is happening by itself. Now, how does these things happen by itself? That is what is called Swabhava. Now, Swabhava, if you want to know what is Swabhava, the nature of water to remain liquid in its own form is Swabhava. But we are seeing that when temperature drop, it can become a solid. When temperature increases, it can become a vapor. Now, the three states have happened due to conditions which are external to the water. Therefore, the three states are there for water. But the changes happening is, even though triggered by external temperature, the change is happening within itself. Now, in the case of Brahman, there is nothing outside of him. So there is no external force which is forcing him to make the changes, to go to gross, subtle, or into that sleep mode. Same, it is his nature to become that. Now, when he becoming nature, as he lost his own nature, where water, when it became ice, did the water molecule lose its swabhava? No, it remained as water molecule only. When it became water vapor, also did the water molecule lose its identity? No, it is still the water molecule only, because for a temporarily appearing to be something else is the nature of, even you will find in the Swabhava of even in the creation. But we do not know that is happening. We attribute that to the cause and effect because of our ignorance or our conditions with the mind which we are doing it. It is by nature it is happening. So when it is the swabhava of the conscious awareness, when it is associating through the organs which are looking outward, paranchikani, it perceives the world outside as a gross world. When it is looking to the subtle of projections, it is seeing the subtle world of memory or imagination or the dream. And when it is not having the or subtle or the gross, it is in itself. So these movement between the day to the waking to the dream to the deep sleep or the gross to the subtle to the deep sleep is by natural process it is happening, and there is nothing which is the reason for it to happen. So he want to remove the cause and effect relationship for the creation. The creation is happening by itself. Now, why this aspect is important is that we cannot bring time, space, and causation for the creation aspect. If those things are controlled, which is part of the creation, it cannot be controlling the creation which is before the creation itself. So there is a standard format, this thing that any effect, the cause has to be prior to the effect. Now, time, space, and causation is an effect in the waking, which means creation has already happened. Then how can we presuppose that there should be a causation before the creation itself? That is, it's a fallacy, because the cause is applicable only after the creation is seen. Now, to put that there should be a cause similar to that before the creation also is extrapolating the conditions of waking to the before creation. Now, if that is the case, why did the dream happen? What was the cause for the dream to happen? So the people who are bent upon giving the causation rule says that no, the causation is because of memories and the unfulfilled desire are the cause for the dream to come up. This is again taking from the gross world, applying that to the subtle world. Now, if that is the case, why should we should have memory of our past gross experiences? There should not be a cause for it. No, it memory is when we want it, we bring it. We get the memory. There is no trigger to cause the memory unless it is if there is a cause and effect which we are connecting it to. Okay, I saw an elephant, and I am now recollecting my memory that this elephant which I saw earlier is what is known as elephant. So my memory and then matching with the present experience, you say that. But the memory to be made available in our consciousness, there is no cause and effect for it. It is a natural thing which is there. It is available there, but the visualization of an elephant, we are matching it with our data bank. That's all what's happening. But why did that such subtle thing happen? Same is the case in the dream. The dream, what we see, after seeing the dream, we are now extrapolating that the dream which I saw is because of the dream, the memory of the waking, and mixing up of my unfulfilled desire. So all those things are, we are trying to get our time, space, and causation even to the supreme Ishvara, he should also have time, space, and causation for creation, which is being denied by the word Swabhava. It is a natural process, and these things are happening as a natural thing. Now, if you look at it as a natural thing, there is a commentary in the Shankara's commentary where he is saying that, he is Sadam Vidyamanam Swena Avidyakrita Nama Rupa Maya Swarupena Sarvanam Vishwa Taijasa Pratnya Vedanam Prabhavasti. These three are existing due Maya, due to Avidya forms, and they are called Vishwa Taijasa and Pratnya. But if it is creation is existing before also in the form of Maya and Avidya, it is now being experienced, then the opposite, the question is being asked is that if that is the case, the Vandyaputra or the hair of a hair or the horns of a hare, etc., are also is is an imagination, but that doesn't happen. How come? So Shankara says that it is seen in that the snake and the rope is a creation of an ignorance. The snake in a rope was never there, and when the rope is the only reality, what created the snake is the ignorance, not Maya. Nor did there was a volition on anybody's part that I should see a snake. No. There was no causate. It is the swabhava of the knowledge due to delusion or avijna, not knowing the reality of the rope, we are seeing the snake in it. Same is the substratum when it is not known of the world or of the waking gross or in the subtle world, we are not knowing the substratum of what it is there, and the absence of the substratum, we are projecting the grossness and the subtleness of the gross world and this thing, similar to the rope being substituted by a snake due to ignorance. The reality which is pre-existing only is the truth. That the reality is the truth on which the unreal is being projected. Now, why it is unreal? In unreal, it is in the sense it is not that, the experiences are not real. It is unreal because they keep changing it. When I am seeing waking, I can't see dream. When I am seeing dream, I can't see the waking. Both are mutually exclusive. Therefore, both of them are unreal to one another, and since it is unreal to one another, both of them are equally unreal. Because from the point of view of the experiencer, he cannot have both together. Therefore, it is only experiences in when it is being experienced. So therefore, the transitory nature is very clear, and therefore transitory being that it is not what is we are experiencing in place of something. Because the snake also was transitory. Earlier also it was rope, after also it is rope. In between we saw it as a snake. So the transitory nature of the snake is the reason why it could vanish. The Karika, one of the Karika later, Gaudapada says that Adau Antau cha Yadnapi Madhyevi Tattataha. That which is, not there in the beginning and not there in the end. In between, if you are seeing it, that has to be also have the similar nature of what is there in the beginning and what is there in the end. In between, if you are have an experience, that experience is not real. So this is the way in which that all the negation has been done for the all earlier creations, and then he says that this is the nature of awareness itself to project, because the projection is due to the non-apprehension of the reality of his own nature. If we know our reality of what is the reality of the whole thing, this world will be seen with a knowledge, even though appearance may remain there. That is the reason why the creation should be understood from the form of Devas Eshasya Subhava, Devasya Esha Subhava. Now, before going to the next, which is the seventh mantra or the main mantra, there is a bhashya or a commentary written by Shankara in the very detailed manner. I'll read the seventh mantra and then read the sentence by sentence of Shankaracharya's commentary and explain it. The seventh mantra goes like this. Nanda prajnam, na behi prajnam, na ubhayata prajnam, na prajnana ghanam, na prajnam, na aprajnam, adrishyam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyavadeshyam, ekatma pratyasaram, prapanchopashamam, shantam, shivam, advaitam, chaturtam manyante, sa atma, sa vigneyaha. I'll just tell the word meaning of it. Na anda prajnam. It is not the inner consciousness or the consciousness of the what you felt inside. Na bahi prajnam, what is not seen outside as the gross awareness. Na uveda prajnam, nor is a mixture of this. That means where the no lucid dreams, etc. Na aveda prajnam. Na prajnana ghanam, not the solidified knowledge state of deep sleep. So when all these things are negated, that means it is none of the experiences. Na prajnam, na aprajnam. Then the question can come whether it is the awareness in its purity or is it the absence of the awareness. So to ward off those both, it says na prajnam, na aprajnam. Neither it is what you call it as awareness, nor it is not absence of awareness. Adrishyam, it cannot be seen. Avyavaharyam, that cannot be transacted with. Agrahyam, it cannot be grasped. Alakshanam, there is no identifier, no way you can define or no qualities. Achintyam, it is not possible to think about it. Avyabadeshyam, it is beyond traceable or that traceable awareness. Ekatma pratyasaram, this is a very important word. Eka atma means one atma. Atma pratyam means that awareness of I am is atma pratyam. And ekatma pratyam, that I am is always one. And saram is essence. Prapanchopashamam, this awareness when the state of prapanchopashamam, when the prapancha is upashamam means prapancha is nullified or becomes settled without the turbulence of the projections. Shantam, it becomes peaceful, absolute peaceful. Shivam in its own purity. Advaitam, where there is nothing other than that. That is the fourth one, which is told in the second mantra, Sa Atma Chatushpad. That is the Chaturtham. Manyante is to be considered the way in which Sa Atma, that is the Atma, Sa Vigneha, that has to be understood. This is the word by word meaning of the mantra, of the seventh mantra. But the word meaning and what is to be understood are totally different. To understand that, we should first go into a bit of the background of how it is to be understood. In the second mantra, the Atma is mentioned as Sa Atma Chatushpad, Soyam Atma Chatushpad. So the 3/4 of Jagrat Swapna Sushupti, which is termed as Vishwa, Taijasa, and Prajna in the microcosm individuals, and Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara in the cosmic thing. Now, these three plus the fourth one, Chatushpad, is the fourth one is being explained. Now, normally what happens is that when we are being told the fourth, we have an idea that fourth is different from the first, second, and third. There has to be a dissociation from the first portion, first and second and third, to understand what is the fourth. Now, is the fourth separate from the 1, 2, and 3, the first, second, and third? Or how do I how do I know that which is the fourth when there is no way in which that has been described till now? What is the fourth one? Jagrat Sana Bahis Swapna Pravivukta Book, Taijasa Prajnanakana, all those things have been told, that the three states have been clearly told. But what is the fourth has not been told by the Upanishad till now. So how will I know the fourth one? With the using the 3-1. Now to know the 3-1, if suppose if I have to do yoga, samadhi or something, can I know that? No, samadhi is also where your sense organs are put to sleep and your association with your body and your awareness can come to the bare minimum. But it is similar to the state of deep sleep, which is without your volition. And here you are bringing to a state of prajnanakana through the samadhi. Both are still not the fourth one. The fourth one cannot be known in this fashion is what Shankara is telling in this thing. How does the dissociation how can I separate myself from the three and know it? So to know that, we have to the explanation by what Shankara is giving is what we'll take one by statement, because each statement is in its own thing is very, very deep. So I'll read the one by one line and then let us see how I can help to understand that Bhashya. Seventh mantra, right? This one. Chaturtha padaha krama prapto vaktavya iti aha. Na anda prajna ityavidanaha. Sarva shabda pravritti nimitta shunyattvasya shabda anabideyatvam iti vishesha pradishedenaiva turiyam nirdishyati. That means the fourth order in the order is being to be done by understanding that the words have no potency to explain as a word, because words are not possible to be explained in the sense that when we hear a word, we have a tendency to associate it with a pada and padartha, means word and word, the meaning of the word. Now, how do we a word and a meaning of the word is being related is from our knowledge of the substance which we know. Surya is not a word which is known to anyone or not known until this Upanishad told us what is that. So it is neither the internal world nor the external world nor the absence of the internal and external. So this cannot be told by words. It is why the word used is Shabda Anabideyatvam iti Vishesha Prasiddhena. That the way in which the word cannot explain the meaning Vishesha Pradishedena. Turiyam Nirdishati. The word Turiya is being explained, being told that words cannot explain it. So the Purva Pakshin or the opponent is asking, Shunyameva tarhi, if that is that you cannot explain by the word, then it has to be Shunyam. Tadna, it is not. Mithya vikalpitasya nirnimittatvad anuvapatte. Nahi rajju sarpa purusha mrigatrishnikadi vikalpaha. Shuktika rajjustanu rishadi vyatirekena anavastaspada shakya kalpayitum. Meaning, when it is not when that is negated, that it is not shunya. The realization, normally what happens is that the nature of rope, when we realize it, we know that it is the substratum rope which is the case for the cause for the snake. Here also we have the experience of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and the substratum of that is what has to be understood, not what, when I say snake, you will know what is a snake. When I say rope, you will know what a rope is. But when you are seeing the snake, you are not knowing the rope. Same way, when we are experiencing the waking in the Jagrat, when we are experiencing the dream in the Swapna, and when we are not experiencing the waking and the dream, but we are in a total state of awareness but not knowing where we are. In all these statements, there is a substratum on which these appearances are coming that. This is to be the one which has to be understood, that it is, Turiya is not a word which is separate from the three states. It is, this is done in the same way which we say that, yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. That word statement, that which words cannot express, the mind cannot grasp, we are left with a statement of blankness in us. So the opposition or the opponent can definitely ask, is it shunyatvam? Because shunyam cannot be explained by words, nor can mind grasp what is shunyam. So is it shunya? That is what he is referring, that it is not shunya. The word negating the shunya is tadattvamasi, that you are. When that is being told, that means it is a positive thing. You are being told that you are that, meant you are not shunya. If you are shunya, you will not feel you are there. But at the same time, you have the experience that you are there. Now, if Turiya were in fact anything different from Atman, then the teaching three states and teachings of the scriptures would have become null and void, because they would not have any meaning for it. The Tattvamasi also would have become, because if it is shunya. So therefore, it is not shunya what the opponent is asking, and it is to be understood that the negation of the words na anda pratnya, na bahi pratnya, na uveda pratnya is not to lead us into a shunyatvam or the absence of awareness. It is negating that aspects which are being told by those very words which are being negated. Not, it is just like when your snake is removed from the appearance, you see the rope. Same way, when you remove the objects of the gross in the waking, you are still there as the one which is observing that Jagrat world. When the dream world objects are removed, the world of experience, the experience per se is there. And even in the deep sleep, when the experience of the deep sleep is scrutinized very clearly, the I, which is experiencing the experiencelessness of the deep sleep, is also very much present there. Therefore, these negative words of na anda pratnyam, na bahi pratnyam, na uveda pratnyam, that the first three words of the Upanishad is not leading us to a shunyatvam, but it is a negative way only that can be driven. It is not snake is the reason why you are able to see the rope. Same way, it is not the gross world. If understood properly, the one should be able to see that the grossness is not the one which I should look for, but I should look for something different from the grossness. A different characteristic of the which is there in the dream, the deep sleep and the waking is what is to be understood. So that being told, then evam tarhi, then again the question comes. Pranadi sarva vikalpa aspada turiyasya shabda vakyatvam iti na pradishedai pratyayatvam pratyayatvam udakaradiyeriva gadadehe na. So again that question is coming, that pranati sarva vikalpa aspadatvam turiya. So all the prana and other vikaras which are there in the body, which are being experienced by the individuals, turiyasya shabdavachakam. No, is it indicated by the word turiya? Is the question which is being asked by the opponent. Na pradishede pratyayatya anumudagata udakaradiva gadadehe na pranadi vikalpasya vastutvat ichu shaktikadishu eva rajatadehe nahi sadasato sambandaha shabda pravritti nimartagatvad. Now, sorry for reading the Sanskrit words in detail, because the meaning are very, very complicated. So what he is saying, that the cessation of the idea of the rope or the snake and on the rope, the real nature of the rope has been revealed. Same way pranadi, which is being told, or in the case of a jar, where the name and form of the jar has been removed, we know the name and form of the pot is superimposition on the mud. Same which it enabled us to remove the superimposition of the qualities on the substratum. Now, there are ways in which words function, which is by relationship. The words have the potency to know, inform, they create the knowledge by fivefold. But many ways, but fivefold are the major things which vary. One is called sambandha, means relationship. When we say it is related to something, like for example, Dasharathasya putra, means the son of Dasharatha, the relationship between Dasharatha and the son is the reason why we know the person is Rama. And then there is something called the guna gunivada, like the whiteness of a flower. There the whiteness is the reason, or the reason with which we know the white flower when it is being told. We know that the whiteness is a quality because of which the flower is known. Then there is the third one, which is the kriya. Kriya means action. Now we say he is a cook. The cooking aspect is the reason why he gets the name cook. So the moment we hear the word cook, we know that it is related to the activity. So we have the relationship, we have the quality, we have the kriya, and then there are two more aspects which is related to the one is the then the other two are vikriyat nadu gunatvam neelatvad nirgunatvad atoho namadana nirdeshati kriyavatvam vachakaditvad, and then nirubadigatvam upadi. It is the upadi because of we know that the occupation of water in a jar That is the relationship between the jar and the thing because of the substratum and the substrate in that case. Now, this and then Samanya Vishesha is the another aspect of it. That was of the humanity. When we say you are able to understand the whole human nature, that we are referring to a nature of the humanness or animal world or like that jati. So these are the four methods in which normally the words can create knowledge in the mind of the people. Now, the word Turiya doesn't have any one of the five qualities which has been mentioned. Turiya doesn't show the sambandha or the relationship with anything else. Nor is it showing the quality on any object. What is the quality of the object? Nor does it show any kriya or the action done by the Turiya word. Nor does it have that uvadi sambandha. There is no relationship in which it can say that. Nor does it is referring to a jati because there is no jati known in the world as the Turiya. So with all these things we are now coming to a state where the word Turiya has to be understood totally different way in which the Upanishad is wanting us to know. Because standard word usages are all for particular giving. Now, when we want to know this aspect of the Turiya, we cannot. Why I am saying these details is because in the beginning itself I have told that we have to keep aside all the preconditions and what mental conditions which we have if we want to know what this Turiya is meaning by the Upanishad. If we relate it to any of our preconditioned knowledge, in the Bhashya, he has taken the five examples, but in the practical sense, today we are saying that we immediately will go into the science examples which we have studied, that the molecules or atoms or etc., or the quantum physics, or even our common examples which we are seeing in the world. The imagination with which we can project, it is like something which we are like, the poetic way in which this has been given in so many stotras and mantras. So all these tendencies are there by which the word is then likely to take you away from the reality. If you are taken away from the reality, the meaning what the Upanishad want you to understand will never be known to one. Therefore, what it is that, so what Shankara says is that Sarvopanishadam tadartatven apeshate. All the Upanishads are talking about this thing in different ways, which we should understand. Like he's giving the example, Tattvamasi, Ayamatma Brahma, Tat Satyam Ta Atma, Yat Sakshad Aparokshad Brahmam, Sahbhakya Abhyantaro Ajaha, Atme Vedam Sarvam. These are the different Upanishads where the Turiya, Atma, Brahma, all being the same is been explained to the Upanishad works. These are the words which are indicating, and we will be able to understand the meaning of that. Ayam Atma Brahma is the Paramartha Rupa, or the knowledge of that can happen only if we do not relate any of these, our known knowledge, for the word Turiya. Now, it is further, he is bringing, now this is one aspect of where he has told about the word Turiya. Now, in the next part of the commentary, he is bringing the how these Upanishadic mantras should be understood and how that will help us to have the immediate knowledge what the Upanishad is telling. That is a subject by itself where the Nanda Pratnyam etc. has been referred in his Bhashya, which we will take it up in the next class. So here what we have to understand is that the word Turiya, don't relate it to anything which you have till now kept it in your mind as a knowledge of what the word Turiya means. the word Turiya has got a meaning of its own, which will be known once we complete this mantra and its explanations, which we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you all.